Just gone 8 o'clock. You're live on News at Prime. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. I'm Cathy, Mohlahlana. In a moment, we get straight into the conversation around gender-based violence. With the 16 Days of Activism campaign in full swing, many are concerned that the justice system is failing women and communities. Crime statistics show sexual offences increased from 50,180 cases in the 2017 and 2018 financial years to 52,420 in the 2018 and 2019 financial years. Well, to discuss this further, I'm joined by Bishop Victor Phala and St. Anne's Solidarity Chairperson Yvonne Skosana. Let me thank you both for your time and for coming into studio to discuss this critical issue. And the things that you're mentioning as you try and push for government support is specifically around the courts and why the courts need to be better capacitated to deal with any cases that come before them. So perhaps, Ma'am Yvonne, let me begin with you.
As far as the courts are concerned, as South Africans, we do hope that we have the working justice system. So if the justice system fails the women, fails us as a community, then the government has to step up and look into the justice system as to improve their effectiveness in order to satisfy us as a community and as women.
What do you think will be the significance of being able to finalize the regulations for the Sexual Offences Court, as you have put here as one of your recommendations, Bishop?
Our hope is that, yes, it will improve the laws, improve the policies, but most importantly, that it will improve the application of the law. And we would like to see more successful prosecutions. That is where the problem is. Yeah. Starting from the police station, going to the NPA, and ending up before a judge or a magistrate. We would like to see that process made simpler, more accessible, and friendly to survivors, friendly to victims.
Some of the issues that you're raising, of course, are quite specific to Gauteng, but you're also saying that they apply to the entire nation, and so they shouldn't just be limited to Gauteng province. But let's zone in then. Let's speak about these areas that you've been able to identify that have the highest prevalence rate, or incident rate rather, where rape is concerned. Speak to us about where some of them are and what the patterns that you're watching there are.
Some of them are Orange Farm, Ivory Park, Tsakane, Diepsloot, Kagiso, Tembisa, Dobsonville, and Hillbrow. We are looking at the fact that, as we have identified, that they can be improved by having the community police forum. The community police forum comes from the community, and as they come from the community, they deal with the people that they know. And it is very much important that when there are these forums, they are functioning effectively, because it's not right if we do have this community policing forum if they are not effective. And if they are victims, that they will look up to the people who can help them, and these people are from within the community, then the victims, which are our children, are going to be supported. They will see that they have support.
Sure. Some of these areas are known to be riddled with crime, and to the extent that then these community policing forums will be going against criminal rings in some instances if they're to truly curb what is manifesting in their communities. How much an impact is the issue of resources? Because you take a place like Diepsloot, where only recently have they begun to open sections of the local police station there, and you're going to people who mostly have very little and would not have the resources to get a fully functional community policing forum like you would have in a suburb operational. So are there means and ways that that can be done when communities lack the resources?
Well, it's going to be difficult without resources. And it is for that reason that the church is trying to identify partners, potential partners and allies, where we can identify where we are lacking resources and perhaps ask ourselves, how can we assist to ensure that the resources are provided both for the police and for police forums, to make sure that the victims are made comfortable, they are given safe spaces to be able to present their cases, to present their matter, to report their cases, that they can be heard, that their stories can be taken well professionally by well-resourced police, but also that perpetrators are identified and held accountable. All those resources, I think, for both victims or survivors, and also to make perpetrators accountable, we do need resources, and I think the church can play a role in assisting, in advising, and encouraging the different various government departments, and in this case, our women solidarities were engaging directly with the Gauteng province. And we got a wonderful response from the Premier's office. And there is going to be now some kind of collaboration. Because without that collaboration, we are not going to be able to win this war. Many South Africans are getting discouraged that gender-based violence seems to be taking an upper hand. Where are we failing? So we have identified some of these police stations in the Gauteng province, and we are going to go deeper into identifying problems. Where are we having problems in the system? Sure. And what can be done to bring some improvement? And we will act as advisors, but also as partners.
I want us to talk about the other recommendation that you're making, which is for the increase of the Thuthukela care centers. What is the kind of impact that you believe that these centers are having, specifically on rape survivors in this country? And are you seeing them as a real opportunity which can be used as a strong measure in the fight against gender-based violence?
Yes, to start with, it is Thuthuzela.
Yes. Sure. Thank you for that.
Going back to the Zulu word, we say Thuthuzela umntwana. So the Thuthuzela is comforting. So if it is a center for the victim, you have to bear in mind that when rape takes place, the victim is confused, she's scared, and everything. So if there are those centers, at least they get that comfort. And the most thing that the victims would like to see the center staff do is to listen to them, not to take judgment on them. So what is important is that if those Thuthuzela centers are well staffed and they are also human, they also have feelings, and from the health perspective, we have recommended that the staff in the Thuthuzela centers must also be exposed to the wellness programs, because they are affected emotionally as well as in their mental health. They have to be taken care of. So if they can be taken care of, but that staff which is comfortable at that level, the victims can get the support, and the victim will be able to be talking about what really transpired and who were the perpetrators.
What are you hoping will be the real fruit of the petition that you've put before the Premier, and have you gotten any concrete responses in terms of what the deliverables might be in this instance?
Well, we got some positive news this afternoon from the Premier's office, calling for mothers, for women in the ecumenical level to come together and assist the province in identifying where the problems are and maybe to collaborate and cooperate and go and deal with those. So they could not be attended to today, but I think from next week, Monday, Tuesday, there will be now some communication, some dialogue, because we would like to have dialogue with government. That dialogue must lead to action. And I think we are there to make sure that it doesn't end as a talk shop, as just a memorandum that has no effect, but we would like to have a memorandum that is going to create some response.
I wonder if there's, you know, an added impact of yourselves being church leaders in a country where in the last couple of years we've seen church leaders being themselves embroiled and at the center of many of some of the allegations that have made their way into a public space around the kind of abuse that is taking place even within the church's walls. So how important is it for you as the church to have this conversation, not just to the external community, but to also be able to have it within the sacred walls, as it were?
What is important is that what was happening yesterday, to start with, it was the women of faith, which is not limited to Catholic.
Sure.
Yeah, so we had other denominations. But coming back to the Catholic, we do have different sodalities. We also have women in the church who are not in the sodalities. But when it comes to our sodality in particular, it's a sodality that has about 60% senior citizens. It's called St. Anne's. And as it is called St. Anne's, abanye babiza Masanta, abanye babiza aboma St. Anna. But what is important is that ama St. Anne's are bokoko. Yes, they may be abokoko literally because of age, but when it comes to the religion, St. Anne was a mother to Mother Mary. So St. Anne was ukoko ka Jesu. So we are also looking at our cultural stance that if ever izinto engasahambi kahle, masekusukume abogogo, sekusukume abomama, izinto ziyajika. So that is our approach, that we feel that a lot has been happening, but akesukume nathi siyabomama, siyabogogo, and the city masukuma, sisukume based on the prayer, because we also promised the government that we're going to pray for them. We believe that the prayer comes first, God comes first, and every other thing will fall into place. And we're also looking at the fact that times are changing, and we now have the government that is listening. As the bishop has indicated, that we had the response this afternoon, and we have promised them that let us have a meeting on Monday so that we will see as to how far we take this, but we are really looking at actions, and it's not actions only, we also have to look at the results.
All right, fantastic. Let's leave it there for tonight. And let me thank you both for coming on to News at Prime. And it's certainly going to take every sector of society pulling together if this country is going to uproot the scourge of gender-based violence. Bishop Victor Phalana and Ms. Yvonne Skosana. She's the chairperson for Solidarity of St. Anne, and of course Bishop Phalana is representing the Catholic Bishops Association. We're going to take a short break. I'm back in a moment with more of your day's news. Please do stay with us.